let's get to it. This is from Emoot. Doing all the shrines and light roots and Tears of the Kingdom is more of a chore than A-level math and physics.
Oh my god.
A-level, by the way, is a super demanding British qualification.
Okay. Yeah.
That sounds pretty intense. At least it's not S-level.
S-level, yeah. I'm trying to think of like what our hardcore level of math and physics was. I can't remember. I think this is a hot take because I rather go around collecting all the light roots and the shrines than math or physics. Physics doesn't make any sense in Allison's brain, like, at all. So
let's go with, I think we should go with warm, as in like things are about to heat up.
Yeah,
here.
Not like a super hot take.
All right, here we go. Here's the sound. Oh, do we have the sound? Is the sound playing? I'll get the sound going here in a second, but here's my thought. I think that there we go. Yeah, you know what? I think that the point is well made that like getting, and you know what? I don't even think getting the shrines is the issue in Tears of the Kingdom necessarily. I think it's the light roots. The light roots can be tough because, like, essentially, at least when you're getting the shrines, you can explore. There's things to do. There's typically different ways that you can get those shrines, different quests, different. You know what? There's variety. If you're getting the light roots, with very few exceptions, you're basically just like running from point A to point B, and you are activating them. There's nothing to see. You can't see actually for most of the time, and it's really. It doesn't have that same sense of freedom that the shrines have, because, like, you know, you go see a shrine and maybe you're on the way to it, but you get distracted by this or by that or whatever, right? Like, when you're going for the light routes, you just barrel straight ahead. And occasionally, maybe there's going to be, like, a construct factory, or there's going to be a Yiga hideout or something like that, but they're pretty few and far between. So, like, typically the light routes are just running from point A to point B to point C, etc. So, like, the point is well made, but yeah, like, I mean, certainly not the worst thing in the world. I don't know, I've never taken A-level British physics, but I can't imagine that's very much fun either.
Yeah, no. I understand where you're coming from. I agree with the shrines. Like, at least you're exploring and you get to do puzzles inside the shrines, etc. But with the light routes, in my experience, I was like, okay, if I look at the map on the surface, here's the shrine that I did. If I go down and make a mark here, that's where the next light route is. So I'm going to start making my way there in the dark, and you could shoot off the little weeds that make the light glow. There's little camps to fight monsters and get the Zonite.
Or whatever, yeah.
Occasionally there's some monsters down there, like a Talus or a Lionel. Sometimes you bump into an old boss enemy. And yeah, like the Yiga hideout stuff. So, like, I do feel like it's kind of, they built it to be the same as surface exploration. It's just in the dark, and a lot of the times you're just trying to get to the light route to light up the space, and then you don't really want to explore it because you're like, okay, where's the next light route? I have to light up the space. So I get where you're coming from, and I'm like, I found a way to make it enjoyable, but there were times where I'm like, this does feel like a chore, so I'm kind of in the middle there.
Yeah, like, so I think warm is a good spot for it.
I find it more enjoyable than math.
Yeah. You know, I could have been tempted to, like, maybe take it down to neutral, but I think that that's appropriate. It's it could have been better. You know, it's just like there's so much. Like, that's the problem. There's I mean, what, like 150 shrines?
Yeah, but some of them are in the sky, so those don't count as light routes, right? So, like,
right, yeah,
you
I
have
guess
130 something light routes, and then the 150
I mean, even that's just a lot.
Yeah,
That's a
it
lot. Especially for an area that just kind of doesn't have that many differences in the topography, let's just say. Although, you know, the spots by the fire temple do look pretty cool, and I guess there is that one kind of cool section by, like, the forest where there's all the trees and stuff. Like the depths does have some cool stuff going on, but it's just they're little pockets here and there.
And then there's spots too where, like, once you like understood how the surface and the depths kind of interacted, and you like hit a wall and you're like, how the heck do I get to this light route over here? And you
Mm-hmm.
look at the surface and realize you're at a body of water which has a closed off like mountain basically
Yeah.
in the depths. So that kind of made it a little bit frustrating, and you had to find your way around it or under it or whatever like special way to get around it was.
Yeah.
Those were kind of a little frustrating because I was like, dang it, I just want to like go straight there.
You know, sidebar here, but I remember like raging because I was trying to finish getting all the light roots, and I think I had one left. And I want to say it was
Like I know which
closer
one.
to Eldon, and it's the one that's like
Oh,
so tiny. You know what? Like, because you know when you look at
yeah.
your map and like if you don't have the light route, it's just the blue. This one was so tiny, like the light route that the little blue around it blended into the actual map. And I remember trying to figure
Mhm.
out like forever, and I was going through back and forth, back and forth. It took me like 20 minutes of like zooming back and forth between the map to actually see it. That one I remember annoyed me.
Yeah, the one that annoyed me the most, I was thinking you were thinking of this one, is it's near the Gerudo region and it's like 75% closed off in like an alcove. And so I'm like going there and I'm like, why is I'm right on top of it. Where is it? And you have to like finally find your way around that alcove
Hmm.
to see it in the cave. And that was really frustrating. That one, I didn't like that one at all.
All right. Well, let's keep going here. Emoot has another one. And here we go again. I hope a game like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild does not come out again. I don't want the memory system back, and I'm not a fan of the engine. That's at
Um,
least a warm take, I think.
yeah, I'd say that's a warm take. I I feel like I feel that on a level just because we've had the two and I don't want to continue in this
Yeah.
world. But I do like the way Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom looks. I like the engine. I like the smoothness of like the combat style and your exploration. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't want a game like it to never come out again though.
Here's what I would say. Um, I don't want the memory system back for sure. I
Hmm.
don't want that back because I don't think it works, at least in the context of the story. And like, if you want like a structured story, I don't know that the memory system is the way to do it. Or maybe you could tweak it where like you once you get one, the next one unlocks somewhere. I don't know, but like as it currently is right now, it doesn't work. So I don't want that back. I don't. It depends on how literal you take this. Like, I hope a game like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, like, if he's talking like an open world Zelda game, I would love another open world Zelda game, just
Hmm.
in a different place, you know, like a
Yeah.
different world. If you're talking like I don't want a game like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild because it's in the same Hyrule, then like yeah,
Yeah, that's where
that's
I was
I'm gonna
thinking
agree with
too.
you there.
Hmm.
I don't know actually. I think I've talked myself into neutral. What do you think about that?
I think that's neutral too. I feel like maybe a lot of people feel the same way we do. Like the
Yeah,
open world, and I like the engine, like the way that Breath of the Wild
yeah.
and Tears of the Kingdom looks. I think those are great qualities to Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, the memory system, I think people are over it, and yeah, the same Hyrule, people are over it.
All right, neutral. Let's do it. Hit it. Okay.
You got your little maracas.
Yeah, I'm a Morocco king, man. Um, okay, let's move on. Let's come back to Emoot's next one in a little bit here. Our next one is going to be from Sage of Fire. You ready for this, Al?
I
You ready?
guess.
Colgera is the worst dungeon boss in Tears of the Kingdom. I mean both gameplay and music. Listen, I know what you're doing here, Sage of Fire, but we're still gonna play it. That's terrible. That's just
That's. I feel
it's a
like that's a
terrible
rage
take.
bait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rage bait take, not a. Listen, okay. Let me be critical of Kogera for a minute, all right? I
Okay.
do think that the fight itself, even though I love it, is very repetitive, very slow, very kind of watch him wait, and you don't really do a whole lot except kind of fly in the air and whatnot. But I think with the combination of the setting, what you can do, like the different ways that you can get rid of the rings on Colgera, whether you use arrows, whether you dive through, and the epic like music and the Rito of old singing in the background, I think it's like, and I would say about 90% of the Zelda fandom like loved this boss fight. It was so incredible. and then might have been a little bit like about most of the other boss fights. It maybe having their favorites here and there, but overall, the overwhelming reception that I've seen is that Colgera is amazing, and I think it's the atmosphere of the fight, not like just the mechanics.
I don't know. I think it's like the mechanics too, to be honest with you. I just think it's really fun. Like you said that there's a lot of time where you're not doing anything, and I guess you're right, but like I don't know. That doesn't bother me. Like you're literally floating up and down and falling in air, and like your bullet timing with your arrows, like it's I think it's a blast. Like and the setting just is the cherry on top.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't bother me at all, but I could see it bothering people who are like, okay, let's go, and wanting a little bit more of that chaos energy that you like in boss fights. You know, it doesn't have as much of that chaos energy.
I mean, yeah, you know what? I guess.
Listen, but I'm okay with that. I like the strategizing and being like, okay, I'm gonna hover right over this ring, and then I'm gonna dive straight down, and the music's gonna be swelling as I do so, and just like crashing through those rings is so freaking cool.
I think it's kind of on the player too. Like if you want to make it exciting and fun, you could definitely do that. You can float up and down and go like you. I never felt like once like I was standing around and waiting for anything to happen. I mean, I guess you could think that like this is a bad boss fight and not very fun, but I don't know. I'd hate to see you at a party, man. Like, just, you know, like, if you're, you could say, like you could say a lot about Tears of the Kingdom, and we have, and we will, but I think that for the most part, like almost every boss is really awesome. Maybe like one exception, two exceptions, but like, yeah, Colgera certainly is not one of those exceptions. So that, right. Yeah, I don't know if you believe that one either, but that's okay. Well, let's keep. He has a couple spicy ones here. So Sage of Fire. Tulin is the worst Sage in terms of the auto combat system. So not in terms of character, just in terms of the auto combat.
I feel like I want to say that's like a mild spicy, because it depends on you and what you're hoping out of the characters, right?
Well, let's talk about this.
Okay,
I think that I actually think Tulin's one of the best because he can take out flying enemies that are sometimes a little bit of a pain in the butt to get to. Do I think he's better than Yunobo? Probably, yeah. Like Yunobo just fights like I don't know regularly. He doesn't do anything special, right? Same with Sidon.
I feel like Tulin is the quickest to react. He shoots at least 3 arrows at an enemy, and sometimes that takes him out. You're right, he can be up in the air. Yunobo is really slow to get to an enemy. I'm like, I already dispatched this guy. What are you doing here? Slowly swinging your hammer around. Sidon is useless, and Riju is somehow never where she needs to be.
Never.
So I feel like Tulin's actually the best.
I think I agree. And Minoru is probably up there too.
I feel like Minoru's a bit slow too, like Yunobo, but like
at least she contributes. I feel like combat wise, Riju's probably my favorite character of the bunch. But you're right. Like she's never where you need her to be to activate the lightning attack.
Even if she's just doing her auto attacking, she's over here, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But like I don't know. I don't think that it's like an incredible hot take because like I don't think that any one of them is like amazing either.
Right.
You know, like they're all kind of they have their limitations because they're robots. You know, it's AI that's controlling them. Right. I don't know. What do you think? A warm take?
Yeah, I would say a warm take because in my mind, Tulin's best out of all of them.
Okay. Well, let's hit it. All right. You know what though? I feel like that's a fair question. Let's get some positivity going here. I love this. This is from Sage of Fire. Yunobo is the best character from these games.
I feel like that's a spicy take. Okay. You're saying these games.
These games is key. Is key. Let's include Age of Calamity here too, by the way, since nobody really jumped in on Age of Calamity. So we have 3 games to draw from here. Now, Drip Nobo is incredible from Tears of the Kingdom. with his luchador mask and his ensemble. Like, he just has so much riz that it is unbelievable. Although he does kind of lose a little bit of that once he stops eating the marbled rock, which is too bad. But Yunobo is great in Tears of the Kingdom. Now, unfortunately, that's completely counteracted by the fact that he's such a weasel in Breath of the Wild. I mean, he is. He's just like, he's just kind of a...
I don't know what, like, for you, what does weasel mean for you? Because I feel like we have a different definition of the, like,
well, okay, maybe weasel is wrong. You know what Yunobo is in Breath of the Wild? He's a glass of room temperature water that's been sitting out for a couple hours. You'll drink it if you're really thirsty, but, like, you don't want to, right? You don't want to. He's just he's pretty lame. Like, he's just like, and I know his whole character growth is like he's supposed to realize his potential, overcome his fears or whatever, but like, come on, he's not cool. He's got no riz, he's got no charisma, which I guess is the same thing. He's just like he's a weasel. That's what a weasel is.
Okay, for me, a weasel is like kind of a skeevy person, kind of like slimy. But let me go off your little metaphor or analogy or whatever it is. Yunobo from Breath of the Wild is like flat Sprite, whereas Yunobo from Tears of the Kingdom is like right when you open it.
I think flat Sprite is worse than room temperature water.
Yeah.
I actually think flat pop is like undrinkable. Like,
it's
I won't
the worst.
drink it.
I hate it when my pop goes flat.
Yeah.
But anyways, Yunobo from Breath of the Wild is sweet and endearing in a way, but just very useless. And I'm so sorry, Yunobo, but Sidon's useless in Tears. It's fine. Yunobo grows. He like grows a business. He grows as a leader, and I think it's fantastic to see. I do get frustrated with him in Tears a little bit because he is a little bit not completely there in the brain. Like, I'm just like, okay, come on, Yunobo. Like, he. There's so many cutscenes where he's like, let's get Zelda. Why is she acting so weird? Why does she look so... Why isn't she talking to me? It's like, dude, come... Like, get the picture here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just Nintendo catering to a younger audience, maybe. But overall, like, I would never agree with the take that he's the best character, let alone in these games. I do think that he has grown on me immensely between Age of Calamity and Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, and let's talk about Age of Calamity, because maybe that's the deal breaker here, because I feel like Tears and Breath of the Wild almost cancel each other out. So sure. I'm leaning on neutral right now, but
yeah, neutral's fine.
I do feel like he was pretty good in Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity.
Yeah, like, and I thought his character was fun. He was like kind of like in awe to see Daruk, but he wasn't like a complete like, you know what I mean? He wasn't just like a dork in that game.
Yeah.
I thought that he was fun to play as, and I liked playing as him with the marbled rock. I thought that was a unique, because like, you know what? I'll give Age of Calamity some props here. Like, I thought that they did, with the exception of Teba and Rivali, I thought they did a really good job differentiating the two play styles. Because like,
I played like primarily as Teba because he was very OP. But I see what you're saying, that they weren't.
Him and Rivali were just similar. There were a few differences there, but like.
Yeah.
Similar.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I think I could talk myself into going chili for this one, actually, Al. What about you?
I would say neutral because, again, I just don't see Yunobo, even at his best, being the best character in the games.
Okay, let's play it.
I'm here just pretending I can hear it, but
all right. This next one, I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm so sorry. Jagaters? Is that how you would say that, Al?
Jagaters.
I don't know. Our pal Jagater absolutely hates the Lightning Temple because he submitted the same thing twice. The Lightning Temple is the worst temple in Tears of the Kingdom, and it is even worse than the Water Temple. And his second one is just simply stated, Lightning Temple sucks. Tell us how you really feel.
I feel like this is actually something they feel, and this is a hill that they would die on. I don't think this is a rage baity comment at all. But like,
I mean, you might be right, but it's still a bad comment, I think. And yeah. I'm sorry, but like, in a game where the Water Temple and Tears of the Kingdom exists, there can't be a worse dungeon than that. I'm sorry. There just can't be.
again, this is one of those things where it's like with like Colgera. Like I would guess that 90% of the fandom loves Colgera. And I would guess that 90% of the fandom does not like the water temple or is very neutral about it at best. So I just, again, this is one of those statements where I'm like, I feel like this is fundamentally not true for the majority of people, but I believe it's true for you. So I'm really sorry you didn't like it. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm sorry too, but nope, I can't accept it. I can't accept it. I think that
This is a hot take.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. And it isn't to say that I think the Lightning Temple is absolutely amazing. I just think the Water Temple was so dreadful that, like,
Yeah.
I think it's a hot take. So, I'm sorry here, Jaegerbomb, but we gotta play it. Like, I don't know. I just, I had a lot of fun in the Lightning Temple. Like, I thought the music was great. I thought I'm a sucker for, like, those light puzzles, where you got to line up the mirrors and stuff like that. I think that's always really fun. The aesthetic I thought was fantastic. Like, it's just this cool pyramid. And it had a really fun final boss.
Yeah. That final boss is the chaos that you like. I'm like, I didn't really care for the chaos, but I do like the strategy part of it where you're trying to, like, blow up the nests and then get to the queen. And
it was hard too. It was a hard boss.
It was hard.
I thought
it was rough. I really, when I did the Lightning Temple the second time, so the first time I somehow did a bunch of cheesing, and this lightning's not good about letting you cheese it. Like, Riju won't show up if you, like, ascend through the ceiling.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. But I finally, like, actually figured out the puzzles the second time around, and I was like, oh, this is, like, really interesting and fun. I like how it makes you kind of think and, like, look at the map and try to, like, figure out where you need to go, because some spots are not as obvious as others. So yeah, I really like that temple a lot. It really makes you think, and the boss is hard.
Contrast that with the Water Temple.
Oh my god, the puzzles are too easy.
The puzzles are extremely easy. They feel very disconnected. The aesthetic is super weird because you're up in the sky for some reason. It's kind of like they're going for, like, a theme park kind of vibe, but there's no cool rides.
I feel like I kind of understand what they were trying to do is have, like, some dungeons on the surface, some in the depths, some in the sky, but, like,
I get it, but, like,
you put it, the water in the sky, though, that's so weird.
You know what they should have done is they could have had the Water Temple in the depths, which I feel like would make sense, and then have the Spirit Temple in the sky, which I feel like Spirit Temple you could put anywhere. Like, that doesn't need to be anywhere.
It would have made so much more sense if Minoru was up in the sky.
Right. She's a zone. Anyways, I feel like the coup de grace that really kind of puts the Lightning Temple over the Water Temple, not that it needed this, but, like, the boss in the Water Temple is just miserable.
Oh my gosh, what a missed opportunity.
Muktarok. See, that's a hard boss too, but it's hard for all the wrong reasons, where it's just, like, insanely difficult.
More, like, frustrating.
Yeah, frustrating is the word. It's just,
that was
I don't know.
Disappointing.
Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the Zelda Cast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.